What's the one thing that stops people from achieving financial freedom? Think about this question and we'll come back to it in the later part of the video. Number 10 on the list of the top 10 things you can do to achieve financial freedom is simplify. Financial freedom will not happen without a plan. And one of the things that makes planning difficult is too many things and a complicated financial situation. So simplify as much as possible. Simplify your financial situation, simplify your lifestyle, because that goes a long way in your ability to plan for financial freedom. The probability of achieving financial freedom increases with increase in simplicity. On the other hand, the probability decreases with increase in complexity. So the first thing you can do is simplify. At number 9 on the list, avoid credit. This means avoiding loans, which obviously complicate your financial situation and your ability to plan. This also means avoiding credit cards. If you have to use credit cards, pay off the bills frequently. Although it's tempting to have credit cards or take loans due to tax gains and maybe credit card rewards, the complication it brings in terms of not knowing how much you're spending potentially, as well as the time it takes to manage the complexity, actually does not make up for the gains. Basically, financial freedom means having more time, and it does not make sense to waste time for meager rewards. Complexity increases with the amount of credit that you take or the amount of loans, and the probability of achieving financial freedom decreases as your credit and the loans you've taken increase. Moving on, point number 8, create a budget. You have to have a budget for the month or year and stick to it. Without the discipline of a budget and actually sticking to it, you can never achieve financial freedom. After all, even after having achieved financial freedom, you would need to stick to a budget to enable your wealth to last forever. Credit cards and loans make it harder to understand and complicate the process of keeping your spends under budget. Financial freedom, after all, is creating a certain pie of wealth, which you will be using part by part for the rest of your life. If you do not know how much each part of the pie is, how do you ever hope to achieve financial freedom? At number 7, don't be afraid to take some risks. Now, some of us may have a job that's paying well enough to plan for financial freedom, but for some of us, we may need to try different things. For example, we may need to go to a startup or start a business. While this may be out of your comfort zone and may seem risky, it may be worth a shot. Sometimes we don't do it due to being in our comfort zones, but we should be willing to take the risk. The accumulation of wealth, especially in the initial stages, is not linear. If you look at the graph, it may increase and decrease a bit in the initial years or stages of your life. Now, this could be due to risks taken or investments that have not yet started to bear fruit, but they eventually increase over time. So don't always think about the immediate term. Think about the medium to long term and plan for the same. Number 6 is don't try too many things. While it's okay to experiment with a few things like starting your own business or going to a startup, if you just go back and forth between, let's say, starting your own business and going back to a job multiple times, you may not be doing enough consistently to be able to save enough money because you didn't stick to something for long enough. So be aware if you're trying too many things and ensure that you're consistent in whatever you try. Before we look at number 5, if you're enjoying the video, please take a moment to hit the bell icon and subscribe to my channel. At number 5 is build excellent skills. Now, this may seem a little bit strange in a video about achieving financial freedom, but getting really good at what you do gives you the confidence to not worry about whether you have enough, because you can always find work even if you need to. Basically, if you develop excellent skills, it leads to growth, and growth leads to money, which leads to financial freedom over time. And ideally, you should use that financial freedom to gain new skills, because that gives you a buffer or a plan B in case you need it at some point. So wherever you are on your journey towards financial freedom, whether you're just starting out or you've already achieved financial freedom, don't stop building new skills or getting good at whatever you do. At number 4, invest early and often. Don't put off investment decisions to a later point in time. It's generally not possible to achieve financial freedom with very minimal risk investments. So your investments would need time to grow. So you would need to invest early to give yourself the chance. Like we saw earlier, the wealth time graph is not linear. It could start off slow and then pick up eventually, so you need time. The other aspect of investing is don't outsource management of your investments to someone else and make it a black box for you. This will not allow you to build the investing and financial knowledge required to manage your investments in the long term, even after you've achieved financial freedom. Use expert help if required, but do the deep dive yourself and be part of the decision making. At number 3 on the list is think before you buy. Before you buy anything expensive, ask yourself, will this really make you happy, even a few days or a few months from now, or do you really need it? Remember, it's always a trade-off between the short-term bursts of happiness you get by buying something versus the long-term freedom and happiness that financial freedom can provide. This ties in very nicely to number 2 on our list, which is don't let your income dictate your lifestyle. Very often, we tend to raise our lifestyles with increasing income, which means we also spend more. While reasonable increase in spending due to life situations is probably okay, significantly increasing your spends with income will not only mean that you will take longer to amass wealth, but also need more wealth to achieve financial freedom. Basically, if your spending grows slightly as your income increases, like this graph shows, it is probably fine. But if your spending starts to increase proportionally with your income, as in this graph, or worse, your spending increases much faster than your income, then you're never going to achieve financial freedom because your expenses will start to outweigh your income. And the probability of you achieving financial freedom obviously decreases with increase in spending. And now let's take a look at the answer to the question that we posed at the beginning of the video. What's the one thing that stops people from achieving financial freedom? The answer to this is because people think it's impossible. My advice is to just get started. And the best way to do that is number 1 on the list of things to do, which is increase your savings rate. Earning more money obviously helps you achieve financial freedom. But the interesting thing is that saving more actually helps doubly, because saving more reduces your spending, and that dictates how much wealth you will need after you achieve financial freedom. The graph of financial freedom and savings rate looks like this, where your ability to achieve financial freedom just goes up as your saving rate goes up. And of course, time to achieve financial freedom decreases as your saving rate keeps increasing. The most important thing is to increase your savings rate. If you're interested in the details about this, check out my video about how savings rate is the only number that determines how fast you can retire. Hope this was useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in another video.